Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Soap Scoop. Now, coming up on today's show, we chat about the Inside Soap legendary Christmas preview that is out today. We're also talking about who we're voting for to share a scene in Corriedale. And our Chloe talks to EastEnders director Owen Tooth. But first, here is an exclusive clip from next week's Corrie.
Crawshaw's a bit of an odd fish, but she's a good head teacher. She cares about the kids above everything else.
Are there anything else?
Yeah, they got an absolute hammering in their Ofsted report last year about safeguarding, so they've gone really big on that, which means lots more restrictions on club memberships and so on. It's worth it, though, keeping the kids safe.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What are you doing back here?
I wanted some crisps.
There's some in the kitchen.
Could collect some glasses for you if you like.
You're not supposed to be revising for your mock exams, thanks.
I've been revising all morning. I need a break.
All right, yeah, great. Thank you, darling.
You won't speak of the devil. That's Miss Crawshaw emailing me now. Got an interview.
Yeah? Congratulations. Hey, no.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was empty.
You're still drinking that?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, cause for celebration?
Cheers.
We should go for a proper drink.
You asking me out on a date?
Yeah. I feel like a school kid now. Really fancy you. Will you go out with me? Or I could do you one of those letters.
Letters?
Will you go out with me? Yes or no? Do you not have that at your school?
I went to an all-girls school.
Oh, right.
But sounds good to me.
What?
A date?
Oh, Johnny. So the character of Megan, she is obviously evil. She's basically getting herself a job in that school and she's setting up a date with Daniel, all for Will to witness. Is just quite vile. But in real life, you spoke to Beth Nixon, who is lovely. So nothing like the character, we can confirm.
We can confirm nothing like horrible predatory Megan, obviously. Yeah, Beth, I think it's one of her first interviews that she's done. She's obviously a newcomer to the business. You know, this is her first job at drama school. Well done, Beth. Yeah, and she's really great and really knows her character. And what a part to take on, very disturbing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's got hallmarks of the Emmerdale story between Maya and Jacob, which sounds wrong to say this, but was a successful story for the show because it shone a light on this idea that a female predator that we hadn't really seen in soap before. Out in today's issue of Inside Soap magazine, you can read our legendary Christmas preview, and the Driscolls are at the heart of that. They have got some really big stuff coming at Christmas. Now, me and Johnny really want to talk Corriedale, but we're also going to talk a little bit about our Christmas preview as well, because there's a lot of swala drama, as always. The Christmas preview is very cryptic where Carla's concerned, because as far as we know, come Christmas, Carla appears to be off in Lanzarote, but the question
We her.
Well, I know, lucky her, but is that the case, Johnny? Because there is a question mark over, is she in Lanzarote? And this preview also comes at a time where it looks like Becky might try and kill Costello in his hospital bed. Discuss.
First of all, Becky is capable of lots more than we think. So this sounds quite worrying. So you say Carla's gone on holiday, but there's a question mark whether that's where she really is. Well, curveball here. What if Carla's thought witness protection in Spain? That looks fun. Maybe I'll go and do that. Maybe she's, turned the tables and she's gone to live, on the Costa del Crime because there's a spare place. Maybe that's it, and there's nothing to worry about.
It wouldn't surprise me if she's just had enough. She thought witness protection works all right for Cindy Bill, not quite for Kathy. She just lied and was in South Africa. But
like years at a time and just drink, cocktails. I'm sure, yeah, maybe that's it, but probably something potentially sinister might have happened to Carla. I hope she's just having a holiday because she deserves it.
I know. I mean, something tells me that it's not going to be as simple as pina coladas round the pool.
We're so cynical as soap experts / journalists / obsessives, aren't we? We can't just go, good on you, Carl. Have a lovely holiday. See you in January. No, you can't have a holiday without something kind of being behind it. But I do feel, yeah, there's kind of more to this.
I mean, the question I'm asking is, has Becky kidnapped Carla?
I mean, it's looking like that could be a possibility. But I mean, she's really clever, Becky. Might have even got even more sinister than that. I don't know. Is she hidden her inside the Christmas tree at number 6? Or I don't know. But I don't know. What's happened? Is she in a present somewhere?
She's got a key, isn't she? Or she just come down the chimney like Santa Claus on Christmas Day.
Becky is the baddest Santa ever.
She is. Now, we've got to move on to, me and you have been desperate to chat about Corriedale. And while we're on the subject of Carla, there is an opportunity. I mean, whatever's happened to Carla, there's an opportunity for her to share a scene with Charity Dingle. There's at least 4 different sets of characters that you can vote for to cross over. So it's Charity and Carla, Kirk and Sam, Tracy Barlow and Ross Barton, and Roy Cropper and Nicola King. Like, tell me who your dream is.
It's really hard. Instinctively, I think Charity and Carla, can you imagine that? I just think that is gold. But Tracy and Ross, the fireworks that would come there, because they're both kind of spiky. They're both really funny. And I think we forget how funny they are as characters and as performers. And they've both got that great kind of dry comic timing. Maybe Ross and Tracy. But who would get the better of who? Because they are both such disruptors. They're both so niggly and love winding people up. I don't know. I'd put my money on Tracy kind of getting the better of Ross Barton. Because also, look at Manpreet. You know, mild-mannered. I mean, she's a tough cookie, but Manpreet absolutely owned Ross Barton after that one-night stand. And he thought, you know, he was the big I am. And she really, really took him down a peg or 2. Yeah, Ross and Tracy, what about you?
Oh, so I love the idea of all of them, to be honest, but we can only vote for one. I don't know. Can you vote multiple times?
Gosh, do what you like. You can just wish it and manifest it. That's what I'm planning to do for all of it.
I think, well, I do like the idea of Ross and Tracy, and I do love our Ross. So I'm like, you know, I'd like to see him put her in her place. I love the idea of Roy and Nicola, fellow cafe owners.
Yeah, they see it all. They're like the Greek chorus, aren't they, of their respective shows?
They do. And any scene that's got Roy in it, like...
Roy on his own would be fine with, but Roy and Nicola... What would he make of Nicola? I don't think he'd sanction her buffoonery. Do you know what I mean? I think he would think she's a little bit much.
See, if Brenda was still in the show, Roy and Brenda as the cafe duo, I mean, that would be amazing. Yeah, anybody crossing over. So I love that idea. I can't see how Carla and Charity aren't going to win this vote, given the popularity of the huge power couples that they've each been a part of at
big
some
followings,
point.
They? Yeah, both big followings, and both kind of those, you know, it's all about the strong women, isn't it, in soaps? You kind of feel like, yeah, is that the one people are going to go for? I don't know. Are they going to get on? Are they going to fight? They're going to slap each other in the face? They're going to like share a glass of wine? I don't know.
It depends who's voting as well, isn't it? Because like, if you think of like, certainly, you know, if my nan were going into the supermarket and she's picked up Inside Soap and she's read of these pairings, I can imagine her thinking, yeah, Roy and Nicola all day long. But then, like we say, the following for Swala and Vanity, like these 2 amazing, I personally think that I'm going to call it now. I think they're going to win. But I'm so here to see that happen.
Yeah, don't rule out Kirk and Sam. Maybe
No, I know we haven't mentioned them.
Shock winners. Yeah, I can't wait. Corriedale, I mean, any excuse to talk about Corriedale, because we are very excited, aren't we, in the Inside Soap office, you and I, everyone we know. It's just sounding, the more we get closer to it, the more we're hearing.
I'm so excited for it, is untrue. But what I will say is that Corriedale better feature the new Emmerdale phenomenon that is Kev.
Doing karaoke with Ken Barlow. That's what I would see.
I've written in the magazine, Kev for the Christmas #1 and for Eurovision.
Is it his deeply moving cover of Daniel Bedingfield both time? I'm still going. I'm tearing up thinking about it. What a beautiful rendition. I mean, it kind of blew Billy Spice Girls out of the water, didn't it?
Billy, I tell you what I want, what I really, really want. No, but he just...
warm up act, you know, support act before the main event of Kev. Yeah, but oh my gosh, don't we love Kevin? We're hearing also that he's such a hit with the viewers, and he's obviously a bit of a name, the actor Chris Coghill, you know, big long career, and he's kind of come in as a guest on Emmerdale, but fans are loving him so much. that there is talk Emmerdale are trying to find a way to extend his time in the show, or maybe keep him around, or he goes off after this stint, then comes back. It's all rumours, we don't know, but we would love it. Just brilliant. And the robbery scene as well, I really loved, but it's all about the karaoke that week. But yeah, now that's what I call Kev, available to stream on all your platforms.
The karaoke and the robbery and the comic timing of Johnny McPherson as well in all of that, just the unwitting accomplice.
Yes,
was
he gets the shout
absolutely
out.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's so good. What would you like to hear Kev sing? You know, we all have our Christmas playlist around this time of year, you know, Fairy Tale of New York, or, you know, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. Have you got a karaoke Christmas song you'd like Kev to perform?
Well, my favourite Christmas song of all time, it's not even a question, of course, is All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey. So maybe Kev is singing at Robert, All I Want for Christmas is You. And we could, you know, he could have a full like music video going on, like in the snow, and he's in like a red outfit.
Is he doing the high notes? Is he doing the Mariahs?
He's doing the desk cam.
Him and Robert doing Fairy Tale of New York, I think.
See, that I'm not on board with that because I don't like that song, but
We'll after he sings it.
do you know what I will say though? I don't know if you caught it. So on Instagram, Chris Cockle posted the full video of him shooting, and he did the song like all kind of in one take. There were a few moments where he cracked up a little bit, but the funny thing was that all-seeing mirror in that house that they keep using to kind of see the reaction shot of another character. Ryan Hawley was caught in that mirror so many times, just like, oh, actually not so many times. To be fair, he did really well, I think, to keep a straight face, but there were a few moments where he broke cover.
How could you not? How could you not? Oh my God, I love it. Just hilarious. So we've kind of, you know, Kev's he's no angel. He's been in prison, but we're all like, he's a great guy. He's really funny, but he's really dangerous and a bit psychotic as well. Let's not forget that.
I know, but I really want to get a chance to interview Chris Coghill in a one-to-one situation, because that's one of my first questions. Like, when you got the role of this raving lunatic psycho, was it your choice to bring the comedy to it, which has worked brilliantly, or is that what they envisaged from the start? Like, so many questions of,
if you will. I want him to run the wool pack. I want him to like own home farm. Just more of Kev, please. But yeah, the karaoke will live on. It's a 2025 highlight, hands down.
Joel, as you've mentioned home farm, that's made me think as well. There was a brilliant scene where Kim came into the cafe and saw Celia and happened to mention, oh, you know, for a very busy farmer, you're swanning around the village an awful lot. And at that moment, I was like, that's exactly what that Celia story needs, is for Kim Tate just to bring her down.
Come on, Kim, if anyone can. Yeah, I feel like that'd be good too. Like, because they had a bit of involvement early on in Celia's time in the show, didn't they? It was all so many red herrings. Yeah, let's get Kim on the case, definitely.
I think as well that also in our Christmas preview, Kim's actually going to have a bit of a difficult Christmas. So I wonder if this is kind of deliberate in almost to kind of get Kim out of the picture so she's not there. Because otherwise Kim Tate would have been so on to Celia like a million years ago.
Yeah, totally. And it is, I think, and also like, again, I think we do mention in the Christmas preview, last Christmas, no one gave Kim their heart because Will had a heart attack, did he? And dropped dead on Christmas Day, pretty much. So Christmas isn't going to be fun for Kim, a lot of bad memories. But yeah, I feel like she's got other fish to fry this Christmas time. But yeah, you know, so that's kind of, it's kind of ruined the festive season, the fact that her husband popped his clogs a year ago. I mean, she was blamed for it. Not very nice memories. Maybe she'll go on holiday for 3 months, come back when the clocks go forward.
I think she'll be looking down at that stain that he left on her rug and remembering that awful time. And then also a year of Joe Tate. Haha, every cloud.
Happy Joe Tate anniversary to those who
Joe Tate anniversary. Right, now we're going to move on to EastEnders, because EastEnders has just dropped this massive bombshell that it's going to have an entire episode on New Year's Day set in the future of New Year's Day 2027. And it's going to revolve around Max Branning. Now, so many questions, because if we're going to see an entire episode, does that mean we're going to see exactly the same episode again on New Year's Day 2027, or will we see a different version of that episode?
And also, are we ever going to see New Year's Day 2026? Because that it's the lost New Year's Day. I mean, some of us do lose New Year's Day because you might have had a few, celebration the night before. So that's what I'm really like. Are we ever going to see the actual New Year's Day when we're all sitting down to watch it on the 1st of January 2026? Because we're going to go a year ahead. Maybe, timey-wimey, when we get to the episode in 2027, we're actually going to go back in time and see the bit we missed.
Yeah.
The only way to do it, surely.
I see, my question as well is that the reason why the 6 works so well as a flash forward is because you only saw a snapshot of what was happening Christmas Day. So they were able to fill in all the blanks leading up to that and then continue the story afterwards.
Yes.
So to give us a whole episode is ambitious. Of course, Hollyoaks have been there and done it.
They've done it a few times. Before the New Year flash forward they did, about 6 years ago, many moons ago, when Ricky Whittle was in the show, there was basically an entire episode that was set in the future, and then we had to build up to it, and you kind of did see the same episode again, but just I think there was a few kind of tweaks in it. So yes, but it wasn't that far. It wasn't a year ahead, I don't think, when they did it. But the snippets, I think we've seen that before, haven't we? Emmerdale last New Year had a series of little snippets of flash forwards in different storylines. But you're right, to do an entire episode is really ambitious, really exciting, but you're going to be very lost. You're going to be watching this. I mean, Lord knows, aliens are running the Vic. I don't know, like, what's going on. Like, I imagine there's going to be people in relationships that you were really, really didn't see that couple coming type things. People getting married who barely have anything to do with each other on screen at the minute. People having babies that obviously, aren't even a hint of having a baby at the time. There's going to be all of that. So there's going to be a lot of, I just hope I'm not sitting there. Also, New Year's Day, you're a bit tired. Do you just want to sit, put your feet up and like watch a sitcom? Are you going to be like, I can't keep up with this?
My biggest question is, obviously in the promos, Max is dressed as if he is going to a wedding. He's got a buttonhole.
Buttonhole, yeah.
Which is splattered with blood. And
he might have just had a burger.
Yeah, what, from Walford East?
Just gone to Walford East because they're open early for breakfast on New Year's Day because everyone's a bit, hanging, isn't they? So maybe it's not blood. Maybe that's the twist, but I don't know.
All right, well, let's see. No, but so my question is, if Max is the groom, who is he getting married to? And some eagle-eyed social medias did see recently Joe Joyner's story. She's very blonde and Tanya, and she posted it to her story. It probably is the most innocent thing in the world, but I'm sorry, if you are having a flash forward episode set a whole year in the future and Tanya is not caught up in that, then you're doing it wrong.
Well, this is news to me and I love it. Yes, I would. EastEnders are pulling out shots, aren't they, at the minute? And I feel like over the festive period with this flash forward, we are going to have a lot of surprises. What about Cora? Maybe he's going to marry Tanya's mum.
Oh my God, amazing. Do you know what? But it could be like, instead of like the 6 as in who dies, who does it, it's like, who's he getting married to? Maybe
who marries Max?
Who marries Max? Maybe there's...
Who's the Branning bride?
Well, I mean, straight away, I'm like, obviously, Lacey Turner, she's not left for good. Stacey is my...
Stacey in the flash forward, I bet we do. I hadn't thought of that. Oh, my God.
I bet we do. I bet we do.
And also, yeah, because that would time with, like, because they said, oh, she's having a break, and we all thought maybe about a year, like, they didn't confirm, maybe. And they could have sneakily filmed a bit before Lacey went off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or, I don't know, like, I like the idea of, who's marrying Max. Or, it's Max Branning. He could be marrying 6 women on the same day and be a total bigamist because that's Max.
I'm telling you, this is who I want it to be. Okay. Vanessa Gold.
Bubbly. It's in
the fridge.
If that bubbly ain't in the fridge, oh my gosh, that could happen. All of them.
Vanessa Gold, it could be Denise Van Outen, it could be Kirsty Branning.
Damn. Oh my God, all of them. Yeah, he basically is a 2027 bigamist. There you go, sorted it.
Maybe Lucy Bill didn't really die. Maybe she's been in witness protection.
With Carla.
Or maybe it's just Cindy. Maybe it's just Cindy.
Yeah, I'm feeling that, Cindy and Max, they're kind of teasing for, the festive period. They will come face to face. Cindy wants Max's blood, maybe the blood that's on his buttonhole, I don't know. Because, they've never confronted each other over his part in Stephen's death. But we've said all along, haven't we, the minute we knew Max was coming back, Max and Cindy is, he's the 21st century David Wicks. he's so Cindy's type, and and vice versa. Surely there's got to be some. I think they're going to have an interesting connection in some way, or a big rivalry. Yeah, maybe Cindy's bridesmaid when he marries Vanessa Gold. Who knows?
All the possibilities. We've storylined half of it. So if
We've got a year to go. We've peaked. Like what we going to have, in our back pocket this time next year? There'll be so many more clues.
This time next week. Never mind next year.
Well, I love a notepad, don't I, LJ? You know that. I love to make notes on my musings about all the soaps. I'm going to have an official flash forward notebook. I've decided. And I'm going to, at school, you would decorate your exercise books. I'm going to put that picture of Max on the front, and every episode I'm going to be writing notes. So maybe we can make this a thing.
I'm glad you've promised that, because that's also going to contribute beautifully to the magazine. So we'll take you up on that.
Just publish that next December.
That's quite enough from me and Johnny today. I think we've got a bit carried away with all the flash forward theories, but we'd love to hear your theories. So please like, subscribe, comment, mail us at podcast@insidesoap.co.uk, and we would love to hear from you. Now, today, BAFTA, supported by Netflix, have announced their 2025 BAFTA Breakthrough cohort. That's a list of exceptional creatives from across the film, TV and games industries in the UK. Now, Owen Tooth is among the nominees. He directed the EastEnders episode where Lauren gave birth to Jimmy with Cindy's help, and also the special VE Day episode as well. Now, here's what he had to say when our Chloe caught up with him.
Hi, Owen, and welcome to Soap Scoop, the Inside Soap podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Chloe. Thank you very much for having me here.
It's a really exciting opportunity for us because we don't often get to see behind the scenes of our favourite shows. And I know many of our readers and listeners, they absolutely love to know all the kind of inside behind the scenes gossip. So it's really fascinating to have a director on the show today. I wondered whether, Owen, you could tell us how you got into directing and what you love about being a director.
Oh, wow. How did I get into directing? When I was a kid, when I was really young, I bought a broken camcorder at a car boot sale. But I bought it more as a project to see if I could fix it. And then when I've got it working, I was just playing with it. I was making animations by pressing start, stop really quickly. I was making episodes of Superman TV shows where I'd have to play different characters, and my best friend was Superman with a red t-shirt as the pants and another t-shirt as the tights and things. Yeah, and it kind of grew from there. So I did photography and then went into did a degree in film production at Derby, and then just slowly but surely started getting work as a director.
And you had your first episode of EastEnders that aired in 2024. Tell us how you managed to get onto Albert Square.
So what they do is they do what's called a split block. So my first episode aired in 2024, and then my first block, which is a week's worth, aired in this year. So a split block is where they partner you with a director who's really experienced in the show. So you get to spend time just talking with them and shadowing them. Then you kind of go off and prep your episode yourself and direct that. And so getting that, I mean, honestly, it took about a year, probably over a year, of just researching EastEnders and immersing myself in the show and convincing the people that run the show that I was the right person for the job. So yeah, it was a slow process of kind of just every time anything good happened to me, I'd get back in touch with them and sort of say, hey, I'm still here. How's it going? Relentlessly positive is what I'd say my MO was. I was just always happy. And it was the same as when I was on set. People kind of really noticed how perpetually happy I was and am to be there.
Yeah. Tell us what it was like to be on the set for the first time. I know you've been on other sets before, but to be on such a kind of iconic set must have been a bit weird and surreal.
It feels, yeah. It was mind-bending, actually, because I've grown up with EastEnders and seeing something that's been on air for as long as I can remember, and then realising like that the inside of the Queen Vic is maybe a quarter of a mile away from the outside of it, and so you film the outside, you can get just enough of it to film people go through the door, and then you have to get on a golf cart and drive a couple of minutes into a studio to film the inside of it. One of the best moments, I think, of my career has been having the cast sing happy birthday to me when I was in the Queen Vic, and it was just an amazing moment for me, feeling like I can't quite believe I'm here. I think I levitated a little bit when that happened.
Yeah, what a pinch me moment that must have been. For people who maybe aren't really sure what a director does, Can you give us a bit of a rundown of how your role is like on EastEnders?
Yeah, it's slightly complicated. So you're given the scripts, you get to give some feedback on the scripts. Then it's your job to design how everything's shot. So you're figuring out, you've got 3 or 4 cameras and you're figuring out where they're going to be during each scene and where the actors are going to be. So it's your job to figure out, okay, if we're in this room, this is where this actor enters, this is where they leave, this is where they stand and how they interact with each other. And you're collaborating with the actors in working out the emotional beats of the performance. It's all about the storytelling. So most of your job, if I take away the technical side of it, is just working out how to get the emotion of the script to work for the viewers so that people feel tense when they're meant to feel tense and feel relieved when they're meant to feel relieved, and make sure that they're excited about what's going on.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, kind of how you work with the actors, because I think a lot of people who are as nerdy as me about their soap operas know that scenes are filmed completely out of order. So you might be filming one scene where maybe your characters are broken up, and then you film another scene where they're back together. How do you get the actors to kind of know where they are emotionally?
So I guess there's 2 parts of it. One is that it's my job to make notes on exactly where each actor has been or each character has been before each scene and after each scene, so that I can talk to them about that and say, okay, just remember, before you arrive here, this is what's happened, this is the point in the story we're at, and this is where you're heading. And that's really useful for them. But it's also their job to know that, and they're really good at that. It's a hard show to work on for actors because there is so much happening and they're learning more lines. A feature film would shoot maybe 3 or 5 minutes worth a day, and we're filming maybe 15 minutes worth a day, and they have to learn all those lines and then record them in the day, and the next morning they have to come in with another 15 minutes worth of lines, and the next day. So to have that kind of mind is incredibly impressive. And then they have to, because you see actors on screen, and it's hard to imagine that they're doing that in front of a room full of maybe 30 people that are all either paying attention to different bits of kit they've got or just kind of standing there looking slightly bored. And yet they've got to be at the most extreme moments of their life as far as the audience is concerned. Yeah, so it's a collaboration between the actor and the director's job is to keep an eye on the technical aspects of the way something is filmed and also the emotional aspects. And so after a take, it's my decision to say, yes, everything was perfect, let's move on to the next scene or the next angle, or to say, actually, I think we need to tweak something.
Yeah, and I guess with a show like EastEnders that's such fast paced in terms of their filming, you don't get a lot of time to tweak and rehearse and things like that. It's all go, go, go.
No. Yes. It feels like no time. Scenes are so fast. And I think that's why they've just got the best team on the planet, because to move at that pace it would terrify the average crew that works on feature films or adverts. But I've worked on commercials that work at filming 30 seconds worth of footage in a week. And then you go onto something at EastEnders and you think, this is so hard, it's so demanding, and the team can make it look easy. They're kind of almost psychic the way that they'll work together to pull everything into exactly where it needs to be to make a scene work.
Yeah, it's a very, very well-oiled machine right now. Your block that you directed, which happened in May this year, was a really great block. It had, I'll remind people who are listening at home, we had Lauren giving birth, Cindy arriving back, Kathy being exposed as the shoveler that hit Cindy at Christmas, and you also had the very special VE Day special episode which aired on the last episode of your blog. But going back to Lauren giving birth and Cindy reappearing, really like special scenes and big scenes to do a birth in your first block. What a challenge.
Yeah, it is a challenge. I think I love the EastEnders team. The producers kind of let me get on with it. I think on any soap, any block you get, you're going to be thrown in the deep end. If it's your first block, you're going to be thrown some things that you've not done before. I'd not done a birth scene before. I was watching seasons of Call the Midwife just to see as many births as possible and kind of figure out what angles work and how they make things, just the technical aspects of it. I had a lot of meetings with a midwife just to talk about the sort of the practical aspects, and then I was talking to Chris Clenshaw as well, because he was the executive producer at that point, and it was one of his last blocks, and he had ideas about how realistic he wanted it to be versus how clean and TV version he wanted it to be. Yeah, and then talking with Jackie as well, because she's going to be performing the birth, so making sure that she's happy with these plans that we're all forming in our offices. Then she's got to be the one actually on the hospital bed giving birth. So yeah, it was a lot of research involved in making that happen, actually.
Yeah, and also you've got to kind of make the audience at home really recognise that these are like big moments. Obviously, Cindy arriving in the first episode was brilliant. Kind of unexpected, but a great surprise. How do you kind of make these big moments kind of have that impact at home?
Part of it is that it's down to the writing. If a scene is well written, it really should have that impact, whatever I do, and it would be hard for me to take that away from it. And it's the same with the performance. I think my job is to get the most out of it and give it more impact where I can. And so that's down to figuring out the pacing of it, figuring out what we call the blocking, which is where people are stood. And it's kind of an unspoken art about how we tell stories by the movement of the actors in a scene. But that's a big part of the director's job in a soap. Am I phrasing this? I think it's an exciting part of my work is just being in love with soap and understanding the format and understanding how you can get an audience maybe not expecting something and then pull the rug out and shock them or build tension up for something. And it's a lot of that playful work for me.
And of course the VE Day special, which was really celebrated, and I think a lot of people were really impressed and surprised by the kind of slightly different format the episode took. And we had like black and white flashbacks that then like seamlessly blurred into Albert Square. That must have been what an honour to do such a special episode, but also quite a challenge to take on as well.
I don't think I've been prouder of anything I've made than that episode. It was a challenge, but then also when you've got something that's really special, it's easier to get more out of the cast and the crew because they're excited about it as well. And so I think everyone knew that it was going to be a special episode, and they were kind of excited to put a bit more into it, which is a weird thing to say on a show like EastEnders where everyone gives everything they've got the whole time. But yeah, it was definitely a show where we got to just really do some unusual things. And I was coming up with ideas and taking them to Chris Clenshaw, and he was sort of batting them back to me saying, well, how about you take that idea further? How about we do a bit more of that? Yeah, for me, it was just incredibly exciting. And also Paul, who plays Nigel, was just an absolute dream to work with. I was excited to work with him because of shows like The Young Ones and Red Dwarf that he'd starred in. It was amazing. You can always tell when he's on the way to set because you can hear this gentle ukulele music slowly getting louder as he kind of just walks around the set playing to himself in a bit of a dream, and then they'll get onto set and he's just word perfect every time. Yeah,
brilliant.
It was a dream.
And one question I think a lot of people will be wondering as well is that you've got in your blocks there was Ivani and Joel sleeping together. Now people will know that this kind of set the stage for later developments in Joel's storyline when that came to more public knowledge. How much as a director do you know what's coming up in the show, and kind of can you set the stage for certain things, or are things kept secret from you? What's that experience?
There's a lot that's kept secret from you, but there's things where you kind of, I think you can guess. In my first episode, I had Freddie trying to record Birdsong and then collecting the recording the next day, and I was saying to the team, okay, something's going on here. Is this really important? Do I need to make sure we see what's happening really clearly so that people remember that? And they said, yeah, that's going to be part of the Christmas special. So I had to make sure I pulled that out. And with this, I think it was clearly leading toward a really important issue. So yeah, we did have quite a few conversations about sort of how we handled it and how we made it work. But they don't tell you just off the bat what's going to happen next.
Yeah, because I think fans are always looking for little clues in episodes, and they always say, oh, is that a sign of something that's going to happen in 6 months' time? So perhaps...
And it's part of our fun as well. Well, no, because we do find out. If we ask, we're told. And so it is part of the fun for us to drop little clues where we can, or things that people are going to go back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know the EastEnders fans are like eagle-eyed viewers, so they're always screenshotting and kind of finding little clues everywhere. So there'll be more probably laid ahead in the future. I wondered whether, because obviously EastEnders is filmed in a certain style and has certain kind of format, and obviously with the VE Day you got to put your own stamp on things. I wonder whether there was anything that you felt that you could kind of sprinkle in as your own unique style as a director.
You know what? So I'd heard from quite a few people that EastEnders has its own style and they want you to play that sort of style. And then when I got there, I discovered that actually they were really excited by people bringing anything new to the table. So while I'd planned to to try and match the format. I mean, there's a certain amount that you can't change because you're filming with 3 cameras at once or 4 cameras at once, and that changes things like your lighting and the angles you can get. But they were really open to me trying different things, so long as you can do it within the time, and so long as you've got a plan B, so that if something you tried doesn't work, you've still got the footage that will cut a normal scene together as well, then you're pretty free to do what you like.
And I wondered whether you could give us a bit of an insight into your experience as a director, and also a wheelchair user, because I imagine that there'll be people thinking, well, I know for myself because I've been on the sets. Some of the sets are tiny and getting around them is a bit of a nightmare. But what's it like to be a wheelchair user and a director?
So in the industry as a whole, there's a lot of fighting to be done at the moment. There's a lot that needs to change. It's not an easy ride right now. And then I look at EastEnders, and it was like the absolute reverse of that, because they're so used to people in wheelchairs being there that they were teaching me things about what I might find useful. And the crew and cast were so used to disability. I'm used to being on sets now where I arrive and people have never spoken to someone who's in a wheelchair in their life, and they're kind of scared of me. And there's a lot of kind of ambassadorship involved about just teaching people that we exist and that we can do this work. And then you get onto EastEnders, and it's like everything just worked, everything just flowed. They were so used to it. It was really refreshing to just be given a desk in a room and a script and told to go prep it, and then given the dates I'm going to shoot it and go and shoot it. Yeah, it surprised me, and it was such a pleasant surprise actually getting onto EastEnders as a wheelchair user.
If you could kind of champion some changes that you'd like to see, be it kind of attitudes or more practical changes, what would you like to see in the industry change?
I think the people are scared to hire disabled people. I've spoken to producers, too many producers now, who are scared of hiring disabled people because they assume that things wouldn't be possible without actually asking if it's possible. So for me, I'm an off-roader. I have an off-road wheelchair, and I spend more of my time. I live in Derbyshire in the Peak District, and I spend most of my time halfway up mountains and falling off them and things. And I get a lot of assumptions that I can only work in a studio without people really asking. When they find out that I probably spend a lot more time in the great outdoors than they do, and in far rougher terrain than they've been in their lives, it kind of shocks them. But I think generally just asking the question rather than making an assumption would make a huge difference when people are hiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're here as well to talk about this amazing nomination that you've had, which is BAFTA Breakthrough, sponsored by Netflix. What an incredible achievement. How does it feel to be nominated for that?
How does it feel? I still haven't figured out how it feels. It feels amazing and humbling and surreal. I don't think it's real yet. I think I'm especially happy that it's happened with me as a soap director, because it feels like soap kind of gets ignored a lot of the time. So yeah, getting this is pretty incredible actually.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you have for any people out there who may be aspiring directors or are just interested in the industry about getting started?
Be prolific. Make as much as you possibly can. Don't make any excuses for yourself. There's always reason not to make something, and you have to get used to the fact that people are going to be saying no to you all the time. I got a year of no's from EastEnders, and I didn't stop smiling and didn't stop knocking. So yeah, keep going.
Fantastic. And what a great block of episodes to say that you've got your name to, and I hope we see more of you soon, Owen. But thank you so much for sharing all your insights about working on EastEnders, and congratulations again about your BAFTA nomination.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure.